Right, so today we are looking at demand relationships. Basically, this can be a possible essay question. In grade 10, we just learned about the basic demand and supply. So here we just go through the definition, basic definition of demand again. The demand for an article at a given price is a quantity purchased at a given price and within a given period of time. The demand is a desire to possess the commodity. Possess means to own the commodity. Commodity means product. The ability to pay the price that's asked for the commodity, and a willingness to pay the price asked. So you can also see that I underlined there the keywords for you. It's a desire, it's the ability, and the willingness. Alright, so that's a definition. You can use that as an introduction when we do this as an essay question. Then demand relationships is to make analysis easier. The demand table was compiled on the assumption that all other things remain the same. From grade 10, you will remember we used the Latin term ceteris paribus, meaning all other factors remain the same. This assumes that the taste and income for the consumer stay the same. There's no new substitutes that are developed. The prices and the quantities of all other goods remains unchanged. In practice, these factors do not always remain the same. Unfortunately, they do change. With most products, the quantity demanded increase as the price of the product fell. So whenever my price increase, in other words, people will demand less. Whenever the price decreases, people will demand more. So therefore, we can say that there's a negative or an inverse relationship between the quantity and the price of goods demanded. The lower the price, the more people will buy. This is because as the price falls, more people can satisfy their needs and desires. But as the price rises, only those in the higher income groups can continue in this way. Then you're going to learn about two new concepts. The first one is substitutes. The second one is complements. Now, substitute, like when they have a soccer match and they say, okay, one of the reserves or the substitute players must come onto the field, it means it's one that replaces another. In economic terms, we talk about a substitute as a product that are similar to another product that can satisfy the same demand. This example we use, for example, butter and margarine. Now, if the price of one product increases, it will cause an increase in the demand for another commodity. We say that these two commodities are substitutes for each other. Consider butter and margarine. As the price of butter increases, consumers will buy less butter and start looking for a substitute product. They then start to buy margarine instead, and as a result, the demand for margarine will start to increase. If the price of coffee increases due to a decrease in supply caused by a poor harvest, the price of tea may increase as a result of a bigger demand. Now, another example here can be coffee and tea, because both are hot drinks that we can drink. So it must be two products that can replace each other, and it must be able to basically satisfy the same need that you have. Alright, but we do get people that, for example, is on a special diet. They don't eat margarine, they only eat butter. So even if the price of butter increase, they will still pay the price for that. Some people do not like tea at all, they only drink coffee pots. So in other words, they will still buy the coffee. But we're not talking about them right now. We are only talking about, in economics, what's normally happening. If a price of one good increases, then the demand for a substitute product will increase. Now, if you look at figure 1.2, the demand for coffee, what happens on this graph is, tomorrow I'm going to take you step by step through drawing the graph. You are first going to look here at your x and your y axis. You will see we have the price of coffee and we have the quantity of coffee. So what they're trying to illustrate to us here is when the quantity of coffee decreases from Q to Q1, the price of coffee will increase from P to P1. So therefore, there will be a shift, first of all, in the supply of coffee, because they say because of a poor harvest. So there's not enough coffee. So the supply of coffee is going to decrease from SS, and it's going to decrease to the left hand side to S1. Why does it decrease to the left hand side? If we imagine that we had figures here at the bottom, it would have been starting at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or in tens or in hundreds. So it always increases to the right side and it decreases to the left side. So whenever there's a shift in the curve to my left side, it indicates that there's a decrease in supply or a decrease in demand. So now, what will happen to the supply of tea? Okay, obviously, because coffee is too expensive now, because there's not enough coffee available, the demand for tea will increase from DD, and it will shift to the right to D1. Okay, again, increase, normally have a 0 starting point, and the increases on my vertical axis will always be starting at 0 and then increasing to the right, and it decreases to the left. So therefore my graph will shift up and outwards from DD to D1. Alright, so because coffee is too expensive, people are going to look for an alternative. This can also include like green tea, for example, or Milo, any other hot drink that will satisfy the same need as coffee gave you, for example. Alright. Then figure 1.4 shows us then the quantity of coffee, that there's a positive, in other words a direct relationship that exists between the price of a good and the quantity demanded of the substitute. If the price of coffee is plotted against the corresponding changes in the quantity of tea demanded, a positive relationship is obtained. This is shown in figure 1.4 by RR. So there's RR, and you can see it looks similar to my supply curve. Okay, why to the supply curve? Because the supply also has a direct relationship between the price and the quantity. Okay, so in other words, if the price of coffee increases, the quantity of coffee demanded will also increase.